My name is Julie Yates. I'm here in Williamsburg, Virginia, and I work at Colonial Williamsburg. Very enjoyable job. My dream job, actually. But today I'm going to be talking about Laurel Urich's article, John Winthrop's City of Women. Now, I found this article very interesting because growing up, when I thought about Puritans, I didn't think about women. You just think about the men and how strict they are. So this was a very interesting article to me, and I learned so much. So I wanted to start talking about actually where Laurel Ulrichs got a lot of her information from, which is the Journal of John Winthrop. The journal actually identifies 79 women who were involved in the establishment of the Massachusetts colony. The journal's editors were able to precisely identify the women and provide their names. Winthrop records routine interactions of women in domestic activities such as during childbirth with the aid of a midwife. The midwife specifically identified is named Anne Hutchinson. Ironically, she was eventually accused of and tried for heresy due to her proselytization about the indwelling power of grace. Another woman identified was Mary Dyer, who actually gave birth to a deformed baby, while Hutchinson and other women were present. Winthrop called the baby a monster. I thought that was so sad, and blamed heresy on the part of Dyer and Hutchinson for the baby's deformities. Additionally, Winthrop records disturbing stories of women who harmed their children during fits of, quote, melancholy or spiritual delusions. The article by Laurel Ulrich, John Winthrop's City of Women, tells stories of several women from Winthrop's journal. Ulrich further expounds on some of the Puritan concepts applied to women, primarily regarding their household roles, because Winthrop was indifferent to the contribution of women in the economy. He actually felt that women should submit and to follow the lead of their husbands. Ulrich finishes his article by examining the case of a woman named Anne Hopkins. She was the wife of Connecticut governor and was believed to be mentally unstable due to her ability to read and write and her actually reading and writing. She actually wrote several books. The Puritan viewpoint held that women were ill-suited for intellectual pursuits and could suffer calamities such as mental illness if they involved themselves in academics. She also writes about stories of abuse of children and women. So gender is an unavoidable issue in 17th century Massachusetts, and it is central. Just as now, there's no single attitude toward women in 17th century Massachusetts. Ulrich states that Winthrop's version of the past survived not only because Winthrop was among the winners in the struggle for religious orthodoxy, but also because his stories are vivid, detailed, and filled with drama. In Norman Bosch's review of a book entitled Founding Mothers and Fathers, Gendered Power and Forming of the American Society, she wrote that politics were deeply ingrained in family affairs during this time. In political matters, women were expected to follow and support the beliefs of their husbands. Shocking. Women's submissiveness in political affairs was not just unique to Puritan communities, but broader society as well. This was true in daily and domestic life. So 2 Corinthians 6:14 says, "Do not be unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship has righteousness with lawlessness, and what communion has light with darkness?" Today, this verse is often cited with regard to dating and marriage between believers and non-believers. To be equally yoked, both the man and woman should be believers. In John Winthrop's time, this took on a totally different connotation. Today, equally yoked, men and women are seen as bringing their strengths, weaknesses to a relationship, and in love and understanding. They work through how they will complement each other. The Puritan viewpoint was quite different because it denied a sense of equality between men and women. In their perspective, men brought the bulk of the strength to the relationship, and women were expected to follow his lead in all matters. And any misfortune was seen as a result of her failure to follow this path. hence the stories of the women being abused and the child that was very deformed when born. While Puritans are often revered for their piousness and commitment to the faith, there's a lack of the examination of the relationship between men and women in these communities. Both Ulrich and Bosch examine these aspects of Puritan life by their analysis of Winthrop diaries. I really look forward to reading your articles. I had a really hard time deciding which article to talk about and read. I actually read most of them because it was so fascinating to me. So I look forward to hearing your replies to this. And thank you. Bye.